But yeah, let's get into it. What should we start with? Should we start with this interview? I haven't seen any of it. I didn't even realize it was happening. But I do want to watch it. So let's react to this. And get right into it, shall we?
Regardless,
Jimbo, it was a CEO of another company. Wait, yeah, I was a CEO of another company? Oh, who was the actual target? Oh. I just saw on Drudge, it said shooter targets NFL in New York City. Bloodbath on Park Ave. Anyway, okay, let's watch Nick on Bradley Martyn.
Definitely seem to have a really strong voice.
This just dropped an hour ago. Where's the beginning?
It's wow. Where do I begin, man? It's funny because I've seen other interviews with you, and it's always just like the notorious, you know, the most controversial. But yeah, Nick Fuentes, man.
I don't even know who Bradley Martyn is, but every time I see the set, I'm just thinking about how Sam Hyde hired what was that guy's name? The like wrestler to come on and literally just ask him if he's anti-Semitic, and then he literally was paying the guy to come on the show with him, press him on that, and then ask him like word for word, like, are you just jealous because Jews are so smart and they just create so many things and they make all the movies and all the good media and everything good in this country? And he like literally is paying the guy to press him. That was funny.
I've seen
he was a good MMA fighter back in the day.
Stuff. I've
Mayhem.
You know, I heard
yeah,
about
Mayhem.
You through know, obviously the internet. People, oh, watch this guy's stuff. Seen some stuff. Some stuff I'm like going kind of far. Understandable in some cases. Some cases I'm like doesn't need to be said. But regardless, you definitely seem to have a really strong voice in this entire like political space, commentating. I believe you have a very successful show.
Thank you.
What is it like being almost seems like enemy number one to the government?
It's tough. It's weird because I feel like I do a talk show.
Yeah.
So in a way, I don't do exactly the same thing as you, but ultimately I do videos. I live stream myself giving speeches about politics, and I've been on the no-fly list. I've had my bank accounts frozen. I've had people try to kill me at my house. And so I've sort of accepted it.
Okay, is this going to be the normal intro?
I've been doing it for 10 years, but sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I feel like a terrorist, but I do a talk show.
Be for real with me. If anyone saw the beginning of this, is he going to give his like intro? Should we skip like the first 30 minutes of it? Because like even Nick would admit the first 30 minutes of all of his interviews are just like the same story about whatever.
Presentation of certain things or certain events that are happening, but I'm always like, is this
you can
real?
skip. All right, let's skip
is
to
this
like
the truth, or is this?
Okay,
you know,
it starts
like,
120.
Oh, it's Russian propaganda.
Let's skip to 50 minutes.
Get comfortable in the Middle East, in a region that doesn't.
Okay, they're talking about Israel.
But the question becomes, how do you conduct the war? And I would point to something very simple. So in Gaza, they've destroyed all the infrastructure, like literally all of it, all the buildings, all the roads, hospitals, schools. It's intentional that they're doing that. And even when you look at how they're killing people, a veteran, a Green Beret, just came back the other day and said they're using Palestinians going to these aid distribution sites for target practice. So these people that are starving to death are going to get their food and
that actually is insane. Is that real? Did that just happen?
Water from these distribution sites, and they're getting shot by the IDF, defenseless, vulnerable people that are hungry. Hamas isn't even launching rockets anymore. They have no ability to counterattack. And you say
they're using them as target practice. Bro, come on.
The Israelis will say, well, it's a war. That's what happens in a war. When you fight, people die. But in Iran, you can see in the war in June, they will literally target a single apartment with a drone strike. It's so precise. It's so targeted. They're doing assassination strikes with drones. They will hit one apartment. Forget about the whole building and the whole city. And so if you can detonate pagers and radios, if you can blow up one apartment, if you're the most sophisticated military with precision-guided munitions, how are you accidentally destroying 90% of the buildings and committing 100,000 civilian casualties and shooting children and people getting aid? At that point, it's intentional. And you look at what they say, which is, this is an ethnic cleansing. They say, we want all these people out of the land.
Right.
Now, there's
dude, he's been on the grind lately. Like, he just did the not cookie, what's his name? Dude, I can't think of anything right now. I feel so tired, for real. If I seem out of it, I am. I am just sleep deprived. He went on, what's his name? Clav. Yeah. He collabed with Clav and did all of that, made all that content. He just did Candace Owens right before I left on vacation. He'd just done that. And then before that had done InfoWars, something else too, I feel like. Did he do anything while I was gone? I don't know. And then he's doing this, and then tomorrow he's going on InfoWars again. Alex Jones is having him on again, right? Oh yeah, the Nelk. That's right, that too.
An argument to be made about how do you carry that out? I mean, what is the solution to Israel-Palestine? But you know the solution is not starving children to death and shooting innocent people that are defenseless and getting aid, blowing up their homes so they have nowhere to go. You know that's wrong. So that's where I come at it from. You can kind of get, the Israelis have a case to make that this is not an ideal living situation for them. At the same time, we all have moral responsibility. Especially now.
Yeah, the one thing I'll get on Twitter and I'll see just the reactions to this is like, even from like a lot of our, I don't know if they're Congress people or senators, they got that great check mark.
Mm-hmm.
And I see them and they're just like almost like hurrahing on this death of these innocent people, as if like,
that's true.
If they wanted it to stop, then Hamas would just stop.
Right.
And it always seems to be like the deflection. Because I'm like, but like you said, should it just be, well, they should just stop? And I see it and I'm like, that's just like complete void of
Congressman
humanity.
is cheering on like child death.
What is this child supposed to do? Like, how are they supposed to rise up and be like,
He's talking to Warren Smith on Thursday? Who's that? Warren Smith? Is this a troll? Who's Warren Smith?
6-year-old be like, Hamas, please stop.
Right.
Like, how does that work? And then my perspective shifts and I go, kind of like what you said, speaking of.
Oh, the gunman. Okay, wait. So the New York gunman. Sorry, I'm super ADHD right now too. Well, I always am. But Transcend says, Jimmy, the gunman targeted Rudin Management on the 33rd floor of the building. They own $5 billion in New York City real estate. Really? Why? Do we know the motive? It was the Chinese, or it was Japanese black guy. Why was he doing that? And he's going on Red Scare this Friday. Okay, you're making that up because he was complaining about that, wasn't he? Or did he just get invited, or is there something new? I heard him last night complain that he's not been invited on that. Eric Adams is lying about the guy going for the NFL and making a mistake. I made it up. Okay. Don't lie to me, Martin.
Israel, the precision and how much intelligence, and even what we're told as far as Israel being, our greatest ally, in the sense that they have this like superior intelligence and this superior military. And like, obviously they have a lot of our military because we give them so much aid and they buy stuff from us. Then you go like, it's almost like as if the United States, with its superior power and military expertise and like the craziest intelligence, would be like bombing Chicago, and then being like, oh, but they should just figure it out. And it kind of makes me question, like, because when I'll see these things, they'll be like, well, this was a mistake and that was a mistake. And I'm like, but at the same time, we're told that they have the best intelligence.
Right.
So how do you have this level of intelligence and this level of power, and you still make these mistakes, or you still do these things, or you still just blame the other side,
right, without
being able to come to sort of like conclusion and like, peace agreement or an actual ceasefire? And
so is this just normie content? Like, is this Joe Rogan-esque? Or what?
Stopping this, or how do we get those people out of there in a way that they're not being used as, you know, human shields or whatever they're saying? And then I'll see the
pretty
tweets
much
of these
okay.
People.
This
in
is
our
pretty big then.
just
Yeah.
being like, fuck them. They should just
This
give
is
back
important.
the hostages and get Hamas out.
Right.
Like it feels helpless.
It does. And what's evil about it is that collective guilt where they say Hamas attacked us. Every 2 million people are now guilty. And not only are they guilty, but they get the death penalty. You know, Hamas did this attack and they believe it was perpetrated by 25,000 people. They say, well, now 2 million people are effectively sentenced to death. Everything is justified against them, whether they're armed or unarmed, whether they're men or women, whether they're adults or children. They're all guilty and they're all going to die for it in the most cruel way. They're starving them out. Like there's now over 100 deaths from famine. And these are pictures that are coming out. You don't see pictures like that coming out of Iraq or Afghanistan or any of the wars we've been involved in out of Ukraine. This is unique to this conflict where they've shut down all the food, all the water. And you realize it's intentional. And what the Israelis do is they just hide behind this narrative about, well, Hamas attacked us first. Does that mean you have no moral responsibility? I think everybody recognizes in a hostage situation, in any situation involving a soft target, you have moral responsibility, especially when you're the more powerful entity.
Hold on, pause. I was just looking for more news while we're at it. Wait for it. This is important. Hold on. It's not gonna seem important for a second, but it'll all make sense. Wait, turn the brightness down. Is this real? Ratatouille? Sorry, okay.
Israel's a nuclear power. They have a nuclear arsenal. They've got modern fighter jets. They've got modern precision-guided missiles, a standing army, a country. The Palestinians have rockets, these tiny rockets. There's 20,000 of them. They don't have a government. They don't even have a state. And people say there's any kind of parity here. There's any kind of equality between these two regimes. Even when you're fighting an insurrection, you have culpability. And this is what I point out on my show to take it a step further. A lot of leftists will criticize the conduct of the Israeli government, and they'll say it's a racist government. They'll say it's a settler colonialist government. It's capitalist.
Right.
That's why they're evil. I would contend it is on some level because they are not Christian. Because Netanyahu gave a speech last year, and he said that the Palestinians are Amalek. Amalek is a biblical term. It refers to a story in the Old Testament where the Israelites wipe out an entire race. They're called the Amalekites. And Yahweh tells them, kill all the women, all the children, murder all of them, genocide them so their bloodline stops. That's the language Netanyahu uses, which is literally...
Those are his own words.
He said they're Amalek, yes. And that's a reference to that Bible story. And if you read anything about the Israeli government, anything even about Talmudic Judaism, what they say is, we don't love our enemies. They say that the non-Jews, we don't even consider them human. They don't have souls. They don't have moral culpability. They say, and we have very little regard for their lives.
Is the Talmud, though, is that their governing sort of...
Jimbo, you can get free wings today. It's chicken wings today.
Or is it the Torah?
Martin, stop lying to me.
So the Torah means
hedgehog
teaching.
greater than
You
hamster.
have the written Torah, which is the Hebrew Bible. Then you have what is called the oral Torah, which is a tradition that was passed down orally. Now, the basis of...
Is Alex Jones the only person who does homework before interviewing Nick? I don't think it's like he's not doing homework. I think for a lot of the normies, it's better to come off like they don't know what he's going to say, you know? So that if they get in a bunch of trouble, they can go like, sorry, I didn't know. I didn't realize who he was. You know, so even if they do, they just pretend that they're like, whoa, wait, the Jews did what? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Judaism is the 613 commandments in the Bible. So there's the 10 commandments that are famous, but there are other commandments about clothing, about diet, about all these other
But the
things.
chicken wings are real? The chicken wing thing is real? Deals for National Chicken Wing Day. Buy one, get one free at Zaxby's. 10-piece boneless wings. Reward members on app and website. Buffalo Wild Wings. 6 free wings with $10 purchase with code FREEWINGS. Whataburger. Buy an order of Whata Wings. Get 1 free. Use app. Wingstop. Get 5 free wings with any order with code FREEWINGS. Popeyes. Buy 6-piece wings. Get 1 free boneless or bone-in. Buy one, get 1 free wings with code WINGDAY at Applebee's. Buy one, get 1 free. Holy shit. Chicken is shit. It tastes like dick. That's just rage bait. All right. Anyway, back to this. Sorry. Wait, I have chicken.
It's as if it's not the.
I have chicken tenders.
Governance of like.
I was eating. I need to finish
their
this.
religion.
Forgot to eat too.
Any Jewish student who goes to a yeshiva or a Jewish school, that's like Ben Shapiro, he studies the Talmud. The Talmudic Judaism, that is the Judaism of today. Without it, you can't interpret Jewish law.
And so your conclusion, your assumption is that if they were Christian or if they were Catholic, it wouldn't be like that?
I wouldn't necessarily say that it wouldn't be like that, but in principle, you could oppose it. Because what a Christian says is love your enemy, turn the other cheek, pray for your enemy. Because we believe that everybody is a child of God. We believe, contrary to the Jews, Christianity is a universal religion, meaning that all someone has to do as a Catholic, we believe, is profess a belief in Jesus Christ, get baptized, be confirmed into the church. Anyone can be a Catholic. Jews do not believe that. Jews believe that you can only be a Jew by
born into it, yeah,
right, by the matrilineal line, matrilineal by the mother.
Okay.
And so
I'm gonna skip some of this because we know this. You know, like everyone here knows
Gaza,
this.
and we say that's against the rules of war. Who created the rules of war? They were created out of World War I, at the pinnacle of all these Christian empires, in my opinion, motivated by Christian principles. It wasn't the communists that made any kind of prohibitions against human rights violations. It wasn't Muslims, it wasn't Jews, it was the 100th time I'm
taking this class.
You know, to your point about what you're saying is really something like moral relativism.
Or the anti-Semitism class.
At what point do you say, we're right, you're wrong, it's going to be our way? And I think that first it's a question of how do you know you're right? And I would say conscience is a big one. As Catholics, we believe that God wrote the moral law on our heart. We inherently know right and wrong. When we see
Jimbo, go to Charlie Kirk's page. Wait, why? What's on Charlie Kirk's page? Why is he a South Park character? Did I miss something? 3 hours ago? Mangionism and Mamdaniism versus MAGA. Trump's trade triumph. Why is he was he in like a South Park episode? Why is he a South Park character? I'm so watching this first teaser for the next episode of South Park.
The epic season continues.
We want to honor the president's courage.
Stop. South Park. New episode Wednesday.
Yo, wait, was he?
We want to honor the president's courage.
Stop. South Park. New episode Wednesday,
was trying
August
to
6th
fuck?
at 10 on Comedy
Then
Central.
Yahoo?
Next day on Paramount Plus. Wednesday, August 6th
You can just shut up, baby, because you hate America and you love abortion.
on an all-new South Park.
And he's loving it. I'm so watching this, says Charlie Kirk. Breaking. Now President Trump says he banned Jeffrey Epstein from Mar-a-Lago after he repeatedly poached Trump's staff for the spa. Even after Trump warned him to stop. This included one of Epstein's most well-known victims, Virginia Giuffre.
It was the concept of it is pretty soon. We think pretty soon.
Mr. President, Epstein has a certain reputation, obviously. But just curious, were some of the workers that were taken from you, were some of them young women?
With some of them.
Were some of them young women?
Well, I don't want to say, but everyone knows the people that were taken. And it was the concept of taking people that work for me is bad. But that story's been pretty well out there. And the answer is yes, they were.
Yes, they were young women.
What did they do?
In the spa.
In the spa.
Yeah, people that work in the spa. I have a great spa, one of the best spas in the world at Mar-a-Lago. And people were taken out of the spa.
The best spa.
Hired by him. In other words, God.
Great spa people.
And other people.
Why no video? I don't know.
This guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that. And then when I heard about it, I told him, I said, listen, we don't want you taking our people, whether it was spa or not spa. I don't want him taking people. And he was fine. And then not too long after that, he did it again. And I said, out of here.
Mr. President, did one of those stolen, persons, that include Virginia Guffrey?
I don't know. I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people, yeah.
He's a fucking pedophile!
And by the way, she had no complaints about us, as you know. None whatsoever.
Okay, next. Dude, look at his fucking head. It is so crazy.
Even
every time.
The mainstream media who hates us is bragging on this trade deal.
Boring, 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 boring. If Leader Thune played hardball with Senate Dems, they'd quickly cave. Don't care. Anyway, was that what I was looking for? Was it just this? The fucking South Park? South Park? Okay, can I just be honest? South Park was always cool. Now, I'm biased because I'm a Mormon. But not even just because of that. Like, South Park is just not watchable. It's just, compared to Family Guy, it was trash. It's drawn way worse. All the characters are unlikable. It's fucking horrible. But, yeah, I mean, that's just...
being attacked. You know, there was like a clip the other day. There's like a lot of these videos now of like,
Emma, go to Bonnie Blue's page. Oh, shit. She's South Park character too.
Violence, like black people beating up white people and vice versa. And one thing that people point out is like brutality. Let's say somebody gets knocked down. A lot of the times in these videos, you see people that start kicking their head. Someone gets knocked on the ground.
Delete the link to Bonnie Blue in the chat. Don't link that.
Even past the point where the person's not a threat. And everyone goes, ooh, that's wrong. They shouldn't do that. So we have conscience. We have revelation. According to the Old Testament, you have the prophets.
You're sick.
But there's other claims. There's Joseph Smith. There's Muhammad. You have to evaluate those revelations. You have to evaluate the philosophies. That's every person's decision to make. But once you determine what's right, I think you have a moral obligation, actually, to fight for what's right, to fight for justice. Yeah. And to not say, well, let them be evil over there,
Yeah. But that goes back to like, well, who's believing, like whose perspective is saying what is right and what is justice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's obviously unique to everyone as far as they're drawing the lines back to religion, as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
So that's where it's like, you could have this conversation about the worst individuals in history and say, did they believe that what they were doing was right at the time when they did it?
Right.
I would say that I believe everyone thinks they're doing what is right at the time when they're doing it. Because that's what we do. We do. I believe people do the best that they can with what they have when they have it.
True.
And then,
Joseph Smith mentioned.
You look back and you go, maybe that wasn't
the Don DeMarco.
I don't think. Like, do you think the Jewish people, or excuse me, Israel and Israeli government is doing what they believe is right, or do you think they're willfully doing what they believe is wrong?
Oh yeah, they absolutely are doing what they believe is right.
Okay.
Wait, the chat. Why is the chat a-logging? Wait, we got to go live. What's happening?
At this point, you're like, what's real?
Right.
Because you can
yapping Martin,
and that's the
Rabbi Martin.
But then my brain also goes, well, why didn't they just do it earlier then?
Yeah.
Why didn't they just release what it was? Maybe they didn't think that people would hold on to it as much because they
Bradley Martinsky.
Thing was
Oy vey.
Focused on this, but no, everyone was still like, what about that? But it's just like now the trust in the government is just like
deport Brad Marty.
And I think at an all
L Brad.
Whether it's blue or red, it doesn't matter.
W Bradberg.
The way this was handled was so absurd. And now you could release something, and the same people who
evil Chad,
like
Brad Rabbi Martinstein.
But that's probably not true,
right? Well, because of this whole process, you can't because they put out a memo that
what
said,
did he say?
There's nothing else. And when you
what did he
say
that's like
it stinks because they're clearly lying. They said there's something, they said there's nothing, and now if they come forward 2 weeks and say, "Oh, we found something," Okay, so what happened to the DOJ memo where they said there's no other files? They said the only thing that's left is child. There are no other files. There's nothing else. It's just graphic images of children. And people said, well, are there adults in those videos or pictures?
They've only got child porn left.
Commercial pornography. It's just explicit material. Now they're going to say, oh, actually, we found some files that we're going to release. We're asking for testimony. So you say, what happened then a few weeks ago? I thought there was nothing. And this is being prodded along, ironically, by the media. It's the New York Times. It's the Wall Street Journal. They reported the other day. He didn't name them? Trump is sitting on 100,000 files right now. 100,000 Jeffrey Epstein files when they said there were none. So now they're going to go to this Ghislaine Maxwell.
Nick is the Vivek Ramaswamy of the right wing. What does that even mean?
We're not going to prosecute you on the basis. But obviously, she has every
Nick is
incentive
Obama.
to lie to get a presidential pardon.
Yeah.
And they have every incentive to get her to lie. Tell us something that we can use.
Nick is
and
Obama.
we'll pardon you. She says, I'll tell you what you want to hear as long as I get my freedom. And it's just like I said this on my show.
Rabbi Brad
Steinbartenberg, a big Trump supporter. I didn't vote for him in 24. This is like a fundamental betrayal. Because you know what this reminds me of? Pizzagate. This is identical to Pizzagate. And many people voted for Trump in 16 because of that kind of corruption. We identified Hillary Clinton. She was synonymous or emblematic of that.
Yo, saying that on YouTube's crazy.
Said, the sick
saying those words,
which is kids, compounded by using it for blackmail for a foreign intelligence service. We voted for Trump largely as a middle finger to that brazen corruption and the cover-ups.
It's an inside joke in the Bradley community. Oh, okay.
And now to see Trump effectively do something
the Bradley community's in on it,
which is where you had Comet Ping Pong, now you have Epstein's Island. Where you had James Alefantis, now you got Jeffrey Epstein. In the same way they covered it up then with these cryptic messages about pizza and hot dogs, now you got this stuff now with Trump's birthday message to Epstein. Real or not, there's a lot of weird stuff, a lot of weird communications between them. And you say, like you said, if Trump is part of it, then what is even, where's up and where's down? If Trump is a part of the Matrix, if he's part of some kind of pedophile ring or covering up for it, how do you get out of it? And I agree with you. I think that the answer is it can't be red or blue. Voting Republican and Democrat,
W.
one
Dalton
hand washes
Clog.
the other. It's obvious. That's why I didn't vote in this election. And so you really need someone radical to step up that is maybe not even necessarily radically right or radically left, but is just going to end the corruption for the country. And you could say maybe there's a compromise.
Dude, it won't let me chat. Nick is Obama.
Somebody needs to step up and says, I'm just
Nick
not a part
is
of this
Obama.
Because I'm with you. I can't stand it anymore.
Do you think there's even a possibility for that? Because there's so many nuances and there's so
Nick's
many
hands bigger than Brad's.
Oh, well,
whoa.
You know, this is happening this way.
Whoa.
For this long game of like, you know, he has a plan.
They're saying Nick's hands are bigger than Bradley Martyn.
Or do you think it's like
real
going to be someone like Elon Musk? You know, I know he introduced the American Party. Do you think it's something like that would be able to actually take hold? Because there's so much power already that my concern with government has always been like, for example, at times I'm like, man, I kind of want to run. I kind of want to be a part of this somehow. Like, I don't know if it's city and mayor, like something in LA, something local for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm like, at what point do you go where they're like, hey man, you're doing great, but check this out.
Right.
Like, at what point does it not just become the same history, the same cycle where it's like, yeah, that was the guy, you know, like we all believe that Trump was that guy. Because I genuinely did. I genuinely, and a part of me still wants to believe that like there is that ability to fix it. And I think
everybody
it can
does.
Be fixed. It's like, but is there enough want or need for it to actually be fixed from those people when they're already there or getting close to that position when they, you know, the checkbook comes out.
I gotta sleep. I'm so tired.
Maybe think about this.
Right.
And that's the weirdest thing I think about our government. It's just the whole lobbying, all these things. It's just like, it just makes it feel corporate. It just makes it feel like it's not for people anymore.
Yeah.
It's for, you know, private interests.
It is. Whether it's right or left, it's all for the private
interests. They got a debate or something.
And I don't know what the answer is. I think that my kind of goal politically
JimboZoomer is drooling for Bradley's abs? Dude, what?
I did vote for Trump in 16. I voted for him in 20.
How could you tell?
But I also supported Andrew Yang
Was it
in
that
2019.
obvious?
and I supported Ye.
Was I
supported
that
Kanye West
obvious?
in 2024.
Yeah, we got to talk about that a little bit.
My bad.
In 2022. But I'm in favor of anything that shakes
That's
things
just
up.
real.
Anything where people start to think, I don't have to vote Republican. I don't have to vote for the same thing. And you just hope that between some of these maybe emerging technologies like social media and crypto and other things, and then maybe if there's any kind of calamity in the future, like a recession or some unknowable crisis, you hope that the right person at the right moment is going to be able to step up and take leadership, because that's all that's missing. Trump winning this election in a landslide shows that people are tired. People wanted him to be what we thought he was, or what some still think that he is.
Right.
The support is there. All that is needed is the leadership to provide the language, to express the outrage of the people, the will of the people, and who has kind of Trump's strength and tenacity and boldness, but isn't willing to
gave you the
compromise.
eye
and doesn't
to
maybe
men
have that
having a
baggage.
talk.
And, you know, that's going to be one person, one special person.
Yeah, but that's the question. Is like you that's that person until it's not.
That
right?
was
in my head.
Okay, this is just like a Chud discussion. That was so funny though. Nick talking about it. I heard him talking about it last night, but he's right. Like literally all that his conversation with Clav, whatever the fuck. I can't. I'm too tired. It like they were just talking. They were literally just talking, and all of Twitter's just like, he's fucking eyeing his cock right now. You can tell that he's getting ready to fuck him. When this ends, you just know he's getting down on his knee. Like, yo, what? What the? What about it was even gay at all? Like, he wasn't glazing. It was like they were just talking and like laughing because it was, you know, they're joking. That was crazy.
How did you originally get in?
You know.
So
they were giving each other the
DEFCON
bedroom
thing.
eyes.
So he went
right?
on Tucker Carlson in like October 22, and he was talking about Jared Kushner and Israel and everything.
It was gay in my
everybody's
head.
ears kind of perked up.
Yeah,
'cause
in my
said,
head, they were
it's
about to
getting
fuck.
a little political. Then I think about a week later, he tweeted DEFCON 3 on the Jews, he said, and they invented cancel culture, and he got canceled. And I heard through the grapevine that he was talking to Alex Jones.
If you've
who's a
ever
friend
been
of
in that
mine.
situation, you just know you
but
fuck
Alex
after
Jones,
that.
His producer is not my biggest fan, but I knew she had his number. And so I got in touch with her through a couple of other people. I got his number, and I went out there with Milo and with John Miller and a couple people. That was back in 22. We came out to LA, and the idea was he wanted to run for president. So we were supposed to put together we were going to wind down his 2020 campaign and figure out if he could run in 2024 for the presidency. And we were there for about a week, and not even. I think we were there for a few days. And he had a pre-planned visit with Trump. That was already on the
If
schedule.
you've ever talked to a man, you know wild sex always follows. Yeah, that's true.
On a Thursday, the week before
That is true.
Thanksgiving. And he told us, I got
I
this
only
meeting
talk
with
to
Trump
men.
on Tuesday. And by Monday night, he said, I want you to go with me.
They were on
I
a
want you to
date,
go
Jimbo.
with me
Yeah,
to the
you're
dinner.
right.
And we went.
You're right.
And
You're
Ye
right.
asked
Sorry,
Trump
you're
to
right.
be his vice president in his
You win.
presidential run, which is
Hilarious.
Yeah.
You were there.
I was
so that
there.
was the first time you met Trump.
Yes.
What was that interaction like?
It was crazy. I mean, you know, because they're both my heroes. I was always a fan of Ye for as long as I've been a fan of Trump. So those are my two like icons. It's like them and Sam Hyde, actually, who you had on the show.
Oh yeah, Sam's
he's
crazy.
A big, yeah, he's the best. So he's always a hero of mine as well. So it's like these two guys together was blowing my mind. And what's funny about it is that Ye is actually he's a little bit shy, actually.
Yeah.
I could tell that he was a little, and if you watch him on some of the talk shows,
His face is
and
red.
spending enough time with him, you could see that he was a little bit apprehensive. He was a little anxious because he loves Trump and he respects him deeply.
Your sewer chats
So he was
work
a
as
little
well.
quiet at first.
What,
It was
for
actually very
sex?
awkward because he wasn't talking a whole lot, and so Trump was trying to start a conversation with him.
YouTube chat is
And,
retarded.
what's really
a bunch of
funny
them
is
are just
Trump,
trolling.
He loves his iPad. He's like a big iPad kid, and he controls the music at Mar-a-Lago from the iPad.
Trolling is what
He
now?
loves music, and so
Yeah,
he's,
I know.
he's like the DJ at that Mar-a-Lago. So his way to connect with Ye was he goes, "You take the iPad. You know, why don't you pick one of your songs?" That was how he was going to connect. And so Ye said, okay. So he spent about 10 minutes finding a song. And for the Kanye fans, he put on Say You Will from 808s and Heartbreaks. It's sort of an unexpected song. But then Trump starts talking about the opportunity zones for black people. He's trying to connect with them as like a black voter. I'm like, we're way past that. I'm like, dude, we're watching Triumph of the Will. This guy's like a full-fledged anti-Semite. You're trying to connect with him like he's a black voter, telling him about opportunity zones and the Platinum Plan. I said, we're a little past that. But so he's trying to make conversation. It's not working. He starts talking to me a little bit. We're rapping with each other because I know everything about Trump. And then it was a pretty normal dinner. It was Thanksgiving dinner. We had turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes. And so it's a very strange situation. But then, and this was the story of the dinner, before we arrived at Mar-a-Lago, this girl who was with us, Karen Giorno, she was getting Ye some like intel about how to deal with Trump, like how to play this. And so there was this lawyer whose name was Nick. And he sent all this information to Ye about how we're going to deal with Trump. And it said, if we eat in the dining room, that means this. If we eat in the patio, he wants to show you off. If he says this, it was just like this like play-by-play. How do we handle Trump?
Interesting.
And so we're pulling up to the dinner, and we have all this intel. And Ye said, what do you think about this? And I said, I don't know. Send it to me. So he forwards it to me, to my phone. Well, it turns out he accidentally forwarded it to a lawyer that Trump uses as well, whose name is also Nick.
Oh, my God.
So he tried to send it to me. I never got the text. I was like, that's weird. I didn't get it. We said, oh, well, we walk in. He accidentally sent all this intel to a lawyer that Trump actually uses. So in the middle of the dinner, Trump gets a phone call. He goes, just 1 second. Let me.
Nick
it was this guy.
Feinstein.
It was this lawyer. And the guy says, like, hey, Trump.
Nick, tell him about Cassie.
They're here.
I wasn't paying attention. I was texting.
Like,
well, actually,
they sent me this intel by accident.
Literally everyone's already heard this story. I was turning auto capitalization off on my phone because I hadn't done that on the new one yet, and I fucking hate autocorrect and auto capitalization and everything. Horrible. Horrible features. I hate it when it actually
just like
changes things. I gotta delete.
I've never seen him that angry.
On my way.
Furious. But
on my way thing
subtle.
too.
He
fucking
starts
hate
telling
that.
Ye, because the idea was Ye was going to run for president and was going to ask Trump to be his VP. So Trump starts telling these stories about all the black people that he helped that betrayed him. That was the subtext.
Shit.
So he says, I freed this rapper in China. The basketball player.
Brittany Griner.
Jimbo swiping Grinder? I'm not swiping Grinder, dude.
Yeah, he got like arrested or
I
something.
I haven't re-signed into Grinder on this
Trump
phone.
was telling the story about how he
I'm not swiping Grinder.
He says, so this basketball
I don't
player,
have
he's
a
on the
Grindr. I mean,
tarmac,
I've never
he
had
said,
Grindr.
a Chinese soldier slapped him across the
Okay,
face.
I have Grindr, dude. It's called making
that's
contact.
For disrespecting President Trump.
Oh,
that was the
networking.
first story. The second story was about the rapper in, I think it was Norway or Sweden. I forget who. I think it was A$AP Rocky. Got arrested up there. And he says, and I called up the president of Sweden and I said, listen, you you better release him right now. And the moral of the story was these were all ingrates. These are all black celebrities that he helped that betrayed him. And then he goes to Ye. And I hosted your wife, Kim Kardashian, and I released these
source for that claim. Shut the hell up.
People on her behalf.
Yeah.
He goes, and she is a disgusting
Jimbo's on T as we
being.
speak. Talking about all the guys I've hooked up with.
Dude, he's savage, bro.
Yes.
Fuck.
He goes, and she's such a disgusting. He goes, and you could tell her I said that. I want you to tell her. Tell her I said that. She's a disgusting human being. And I was sitting there like, whoa, I'm just like a guest.
What was Ye's reaction?
He had the same reaction that I did. He was totally taken aback by it, but he goes, that's still my wife. He goes, that's my wife you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly, Kokichi.
And so it's very tense. And then then Trump was like kicking us out, basically.
Yeah.
He said, your airport is right across the street. I think it's time for you to go.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And Karen is like kicking him under the table saying, remember to ask him what you came here to ask him. And Ye goes, oh, yeah. Will you be my vice president? And Trump loses his in mind. And he goes, you can win at a lot of things, but you'll never win at this. He goes, you could be a celebrity, you're talented. He goes, but you'll never win at this. You better not run. Funny. Lost his mind. He had his arms folded like a mobster. I thought he was going to start swinging. Like that's how aggressive his demeanor was. Like straight up.
Do you think
like
Nick fucks with Bradley Martyn's bit?
I do too. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, that's...
And even went to me. He goes, you're a smart guy. Tell him he can't win. He can never win. You tell him now. He can never win. I know you work for him, but he can't win. And I was just frozen. I was like, I don't know. Maybe he can win.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, it was nuts. And so then we got kicked out. These other people wanted a picture with Trump and Ye. Trump refused to take a picture.
Oh, he's a savage.
Yeah, it was ugly. But
that didn't go too well, huh?
No.
Nick hates athleisure, I know.
Yeah, I gotta respect that. I respect that.
It was baller. He's a gangster, man.
So your relationship with Ye now, like he brings you in as what? Like a political sort of like just input?
Yeah, basically. I mean, so I've talked to him on and off over the years, and I think he respects my opinion on these things because I'm one of the only people that's as canceled as him.
Yeah.
So he brings me in to talk about politics or give him some advice on things.
He came recently back and was like, yo, I'm not against the Jews anymore. Not, not anti-Semitic. I apologize. Love for everyone. What's your opinion on that?
It's sincere. I mean, because he really is of two minds in the sense that he is not a hateful person at all.
About that.
Like he has Jewish employees and he really loves everybody. I think that's genuinely. He's a good man. But
I concur.
He's getting screwed over. He can't play stadiums. He has a lot of trouble doing merch, doing even album releases. These estates, they won't clear the samples for his songs. So everything he does, they are still messing with him, whether it's the music, the fashion, the shows. And so I think he's kind of on this thing where he wants to move on. He wants his true passion is architecture.
Copyright.
He wants to build a smart city. He wants to build houses, and he wants to get the money to do that. But every time he tries to do anything, anti-Semite, you need to apologize. And you know him, he doesn't want to apologize. He's not wrong, at least on some of his complaints. He's apologized for how he's gone about it in one way or another.
Well, one second. I got to pee real quick. 1 second.
So he's trying to move forward, but they won't let him move forward unless he apologizes. So he tries to kind of say, I'm sorry for how that made you feel, which is not what they're looking for. Right. They're looking for total capitulation. And so it's kind of like one step forward, one step back for 3 years. That's kind of where he is. But he is a good man. He really does love everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I know a few people who know him personally who would say the same thing, for sure. What about you? Would you ever consider being like truly in politics, not just as a commentator?
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about it, but I just feel like the second I run for anything, they're going to throw everything I've ever said in my face.
Yeah.
And I've been so nasty and I don't think I'm a hateful guy, but I make these jokes about black people, Polish people, Mexicans, even white people, Southerners, like you name it. I don't think there's any constituency, but I mean, if there was ever a day when that stuff didn't matter, I would probably run. Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned something the other day about working out's gay.
Here we go.
We got beef, dude.
We got a little beef.
It is a little gay. I will concede that. It's pretty funny, but you went on like a rant about it. You don't like working out?
I hate working out because it hurts.
So it's just because you don't like it, it's gay.
No. Well, look, here's what I say. I think people should work out. I think it's
pounded
good for you,
rough by a hairy man. No, I'm not, dude.
Culture, it's so vain. You know what I mean? There's like mirrors everywhere, and everybody's like posing and taking shirtless pics.
I know. I'm such a part of it. I'm such a creator of it, low key, actually.
Yeah, you're like a pioneer. You made it, but.
There was a clip of Hassan. It was so funny saying the same shit. Hassan Piker, another commentator, where he was like, "You know who makes people gay? Bradley Martyn. He owns a gym." And he just said the funny, like it's some viral clip of him talking about just like gyms being gay, basically too, which is so funny. Because there's kind of some truth to it because it is super vain.
Hassan
Bros,
Piker.
Like, make a bunch of like gay
They
jokes.
agree.
It's I get
Very
it.
similar.
Yeah. And gay guys are really into that. Like, gay
100%.
guys
I'm always
are
saying
so
that.
into the, because it's vanity. But,
Yeah.
but I tell people, like, as long as you're doing it for the, and look, looking good is a good reason to do it. You should want to look good.
Yeah.
You should want to be healthy.
True.
But some people take it a little too far. They get a little nutty with it.
But what did you say? I forgot exactly, but you were saying that you were like, straight guys do these things. And that was funny to me. What were some of the things you were, something about, like, I don't know, it was like cigarettes or black coffee or some shit.
Oh, yeah.
You just says you do say some funny,
Thanks.
which is like, it's so, and I watch your stuff. I'm just like, I guess I wish more people would see that side of you, because the majority, I think, when they get introduced to you, like you said, they get introduced to like, oh, this is Hitler stuff and this anti-Semitic stuff and
Glaze,
the stuff that you talk about.
Glazing.
And that's what I was kind of saying earlier about blending the
I need to go
politics
get
with the
pounded.
comedy. Is like, I don't know if that, like you said, trying to actually do political stuff might really come back and punch you in the face. Because they're like, what about this? And then a whole group of people is like, nah, he said that, which is interesting. I think that concept's interesting too, because there is this whole thing of like not allowing people to grow from things, right? Like, obviously there's certain things you can't grow from, like pedophilia.
Right.
Like you did that, you're probably a scumbag forever, and like we should put you somewhere where the light doesn't shine. But beyond that, like there are things, I don't know if you saw the stuff with Neon. I don't know how tapped are you in with like just social media in general, but he goes on the Breakfast Club, gets like railed by the interviewers, trying to get him to basically like submit and just say sorry for stuff that like was in his past when he was a kid. There is this whole like, people don't let things go on the internet.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's just words. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a big believer in, like, we are such a hypersensitive culture where it's like, you know, people get canceled over nothing these days, over even on the left, you know, like that Harry Sisson got canceled because he led on a bunch of different girls.
That was insane.
That's your life, you know?
By the way, we interviewed him on Steiny's pod. He had him on here, and he said he wasn't even hooking up with the girls.
Yeah,
he had to say sorry. He like said sorry.
It's bullshit, you know? And I think people kind of just need to let people breathe a little bit. And as far as words are concerned, people like to say,
owned it like he was.
You know, 6 years ago, you said this.
Just pretended he was hitting.
Utterances, like we said things years ago.
Should have just wore farmed it heavier.
One thing, like you said, if you have a legit problem, if I ever expressed a viewpoint that was like, I hate all this group of people, you would have to demonstrate I've moved past that. I no longer have that view.
Absolutely.
But if it's like, well, you said these words, it's like, well, that was a joke, or what I meant was this. To me, that's a little different. And I think that a lot of it, maybe it's because I'm a guy, you know, and we have very female culture. They want to get you on a show and say, I disavow you, or else you have to apologize. And I just think that's bullshit. I hate that kind of stuff. You know?
Kind of like what Candace sort of did with you.
Exactly.
And it was interesting.
Bradley,
the funny thing, like there's this, I don't know where this was said, if it was said, but I think the N-word thing, you saying that, and then Pat Bet David was like, I won't have him on because of this. I wonder if you'll ever do that interview. I think eventually that'll come.
I think so.
Should.
Yeah,
I like him. I like him in a lot of ways. Some of his co-hosts, I'm like, they say some weird shit. I was like, what? But I like him. I've had him on. He's great at communicating as well. I think that'd be a really good show if he did that. I know you had a little bit of a thing with Candace. How did that go?
Well, you know, I've known of her for many years. And so last year we had a little bit of a beef because she left the Daily Wire. And she was saying a lot of the same things that I've been saying for many years. You know, she was criticizing Israel, but in particular, she said, America first, Christ is king, which in the conservative space, those were like my slogans. I'm not claiming ownership over both of those because they're common phrases, but everybody kind of said.
And yeah, to clarify too, sorry. America first was first introduced.
Notice my cursor's on Nick's dick. Oh shit, it is.
Yeah, and I forget, was some president.
Dude,
it was Charles Lindbergh.
That's right. So you obviously knew about that.
Yes.
Okay.
Staring
there's
right
like
there.
A lot of conversation that, like, you know, I hear this Laura Loomer chick.
Then
say
she
that
went crazy and started talking about
Frankus. Right.
I would agree in some cases that he was the most prominent figure today. That
imagine
is
putting things behind a paywall.
You know,
and imagine Nick doing that.
Trying to make it about Israel, whatever. Those are just to be determined, right?
Right.
Are the A-logs all
also
broke?
called you an ingrate.
Are y'all
That
broke?
She did, yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, love that.
But let's forget her. Let's get back to the
Dude,
Candace
that's
thing.
just called
but
our.
about a year ago, everybody was expecting that we were going to collaborate, because I got canceled by Ben Shapiro, so did she. We got canceled for the same reason. And people were begging her for this collab in her comments and her live chat. And she said, well, I can't do the collab because of YouTube. And people said, well, do it on Rumble. Do it on your website.
Dude, how
she said,
long
well,
is
I can't
this?
do it because I'm in this lawsuit. And, so I was frustrated, and I started criticizing her not only for that, but for other things. She started saying it's the Frankists. I don't know if you remember this, but, for a long time, she was criticizing Israel's role in Gaza. Then she said, actually, it has nothing to do with Jewish people. It's this Frankist conspiracy. They're the followers of Jacob Frank, this rabbi.
Help me out here, because I don't even know what Frankist is. I'm being honest.
Hold up.
It's fake. It's fake nonsense.
Okay. Yeah, it was just
2 hours
I
and
don't know what that is.
57 minutes.
It's this esoteric Jewish mystic from the 17th
40
century.
minutes left.
They called them the
shit.
Sabbatean Frankists, and they were a religious, mystical Jewish cult. They believed that.
Yo, can someone change? Hold on. I'm going to change the stream title. I'm so tired. I'm so fucking tired. Listen, we'll keep playing in a second. I'm sorry. I've been waiting to say this. I've been waiting for it to end, but I just realized we have 50 more minutes. So as I already said, I'm so tired. But right now, this is like scaring me. So I slept like maybe 4 hours like 2 nights ago, probably 3 or 4 the night before that, and the night after last. And then last night I got like 2 hours of sleep. I've just been having a hard time getting sleep, right? I'm just like sleep deprived. And I'm getting like phantom itches on my legs. Like my legs feel itchy. But when I'm like scratching it, I don't know, it just feels like weird and like numb. But I'm also on the Addy because I was like super tired, so I needed it to like, be able to stream and whatever. Like even right here, where I just itched, when I scratch it, specifically on the itch, it feels kind of numb. Am I gonna have like a seizure? Am I okay? Bro got diabetes legs, go to bed. It literally feels like diabetes legs. I'm cracked out. Drink water. I have been. You're not taking niacin, right? No. No. Jimbussy worn out?
Action, not only the good actions, but the evil actions also. And in doing the evil actions, they would be able to repair the universe.
Because you're haunted,
like
you picked up ghosts in
Kabbalistic
Utah.
Theology. Okay. And anyway, Candace
But that
believes,
has no relationship to Judaism.
Well, it is Jewish mysticism. It's a sect of Jewish mysticism. And many believe that Sabbatai Zevi in 1666 was the Jewish Messiah. He was the progenitor of this. And then Jacob Frank was one of his acolytes years later who claimed to be like the reincarnation of Sabbatai Zevi. And so they call his followers the Frankists. Now, there's this conspiracy that the followers of Jacob Frank, that what they are is Satanists, effectively. They have infiltrated all the world religions, the Muslims, the Christians, the Jews, and there's this satanic conspiracy on top of the Jewish conspiracy, and they're sort of using the Jews on their behalf. And there's really no evidence that this is the case. There's no evidence that Jacob Frank had any long-lasting influence beyond his time and his area. There's no evidence that there are these ritualistic satanic converts or anything. And in any case, they were mystic Jews anyway. So I mean, that's food for thought. But anyway, so she was saying this kind of stuff, and I said that's really a diversion. That's a red herring. Like, that's not the truth. And she hits me up on Twitter a year ago and says, well, you should have just asked to be on my show. And I said, well, I thought the problem was YouTube. I thought the problem was a lawsuit. Now
I have diabetes, ChatGPT.
You would have had me on. That doesn't make sense. Whatever. It was a year ago. All this time has passed. We're in the middle of the war with Iran, and the United States just bombed Iran the day after. And my show got 70,000 live viewers the night that happened. Okay. So my show's blowing up. It's huge. She texted me the day after.
So, I'm sorry. I'll stop interrupting it. But okay, yes, severe sleep deprivation can cause exactly the symptoms you're describing: tingling, numbness, strange itchy sensations in your legs. Here's what can be going on. Sleep deprivation effects on nerves. When you're running on little or no sleep, your nervous system gets thrown off. It can cause paresthesia, tingling, numbness. That's exactly what it feels like. Crawling, itching sensations, especially in extremities like legs. Adderall XR and no sleep equals sensory weirdness. Adderall increases norepinephrine and dopamine, which stimulates your CNS. Without sleep, your brain becomes more sensitive to that stimulation, leading to things like restlessness, dead legs, or numb sensations, and circulatory effects. So when I get up, I need to like do jumping jacks. I need to like throw my ass around in a circle.
Hey, where are you based out of? I say Chicago. She goes, well,
but
would
I
you
don't
come
have
down to
diabetes, so I'm
Nashville?
not that
I said,
worried.
sure.
It's all good.
I said, are we doing a collab? She goes, yeah,
I'll just
let's do a
ignore it.
collab. I said, okay.
If I'm
Is
ignoring
it
it,
going
it's
to be
fine.
friendly? I said, I know we've had some problems in the
Sleep
past. I said, are we going
stream.
to talk about Iran and be friendly? She goes, LOL, I
Title,
don't set people up. I said, okay.
Sleepy episode.
So I fly down there at a moment's notice. She texts me on a Sunday.
Sleep
I flew down on Wednesday.
deprived.
I go there. I do her
episode.
show. And the first thing she says to me is, you talk so much shit. She asked me about my background. I say, well, I got
JimboZoomer
canceled for
experience.
asking these questions, such and such. She goes, is that why you hate Jews? Did that make you hate all Jews? I said, no, I don't hate all Jews. I don't hate anybody. She goes, okay, well, here's a clip. Do we have a clip? She plays a clip of me from my show where I'm laughing and joking and I'm saying, Candace Owens does Dave Smith's show. He's a Jew. She does Aiden Ross's show. He's a Jew. But she doesn't do my show. What's going on? And I'm joking about it. And she goes, well, so you just said you don't hate anybody, but here you are. You seem to have a problem with them because they're Jewish. And it turns into this like 2-hour struggle session where it's like, why do you hate Jews? Why do you hate Dave Smith? Why are you racist? Why are you this? And
do you hate Dave Smith?
No. I consider him a friend.
Yeah.
I disagree with him, but I like him. And I think he's a very intelligent guy. But it turned into this big
Deacon
drama
Lembo.
fest.
It's because I got like 2 hours of sleep last night.
Shit that
and
happened a year
bad
ago.
sleep the last 2 nights before that.
You know, the race issue, asking me about interracial marriages, which it's like, why? I mean, there's so much happening in the world. Then she takes the interview at the end of it and she goes, I'm going to put it behind a paywall for $2 and I'll release it for free later. I'm like, well, why do that? So I go on my show and I say she should put it on Twitter for free. Why put it? If the problem was censorship and the lawsuit, that's why she couldn't have me on.
Right.
Why are you now going to put it behind the paywall? So then she hits me up and she's about it and she goes, well, why didn't you tell me to put it on Twitter in person? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't think of that in person. I said, are we really now going to debate this? And so we get in this intense back and forth. And I tell her, I said, look, I said, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't like how that went. I said, this was a missed opportunity. You're a big figure. I said, I'm an important figure. We've had a very similar experience. We're in the middle of a war. I said, we should have talked about this. We should have filled up the 2 hours with something substantive. I said, you wanted to relitigate drama and nonsense. I said, that was a missed opportunity. I said, and then you want to monetize it? I said, that's BS. And so she gets real nasty with me. And it got very ugly at the end of it. But yeah, I mean, look, I don't hate Candace Owens.
Yeah.
I don't have a big problem with her. And I think she's doing good work. She's bringing a lot of people around to the truth. And she throws in a lot of nonsense about
to be exposed.
Brigitte Macron and other stuff I don't agree with. Yeah. I think that's nonsense. But
yeah, that is, she's saying that this dude is married to his dad?
Yeah. That the French president's wife is not just a transgender man.
Wait, what?
But is also his father. He's married to his... And I'm like, you lost.
That's what Candace is saying? That's what it turned into?
But, so I don't hate it.
It's so funny how that's the line for you, though.
Like, well, because that's crazy. Like, that's...
Dude,
you lost me.
You're funny to me. That's the line. No. That...
I mean, come on. He's married to... Maybe she's transgender, but she's his dad? Come on.
That is
insane.
Fucking bonkers.
I mean, it's a little insane.
That's a little out there. And I have my reasons for why I think she's pushing that. I don't know how sincere that is, but...
What do you think that is? Why do you think she's pushing that?
Honestly, this is going to sound maybe crazy, but I think it's like Russian propaganda because France is Russia's mortal enemy right now. for a variety of reasons, because
That's
France
true.
is pushing the Ukraine war harder than anybody.
I haven't even heard
and
this theory
because
from
Russia is overthrowing all of France's.
France wants the Ukraine war harder than anyone. You're
Yes.
saying? Okay.
They want their troops in Ukraine. There are their troops in Ukraine.
Okay.
And Russia is overthrowing all of the French allied governments in Africa, which France relies on. So they're like suffice to say, they're mortal enemies right now. And I think, why would somebody
Jimbo
be so
doesn't watch
fixated
the
on
show.
Macron,
No.
of all people, the French president?
Especially not the last 2 weeks, except for last night.
And there's this salacious scandal. So, and one of the things this is maybe a bridge too far for you or for the audience, but one of the things I've really learned over the time that I've been doing this, in addition to the rabbit hole of Israel and the Jewish religion and the rest of it, is the extent to which so much of the media is involved with the intelligence agencies. And so maybe 2 years ago, I didn't believe any of that. Now, I think that the Russians, and to an extent, yes, the Qataris, the Emiratis, the Saudis, the Turks, the Israelis, they all have a hand in a lot of the media. And the Tenet thing was a huge scandal. You remember Tenet Media, where Tim Pool and Lauren Chen and Dave Rubin, they were getting $10 million from the Russians.
Confirmed.
Yes, from Russia. And it was a huge scandal. And
Dude, Tim doesn't know what you're talking about.
Kind of woke me up to the overlap. Now, that's a theory. That's pure speculation with Candace. That's my hunch. I haven't done a deep dive on that, and I have no proof of that. But you just try to, like we were talking about earlier, how do you discern? Why is she going so hard against the French president? You say, well, who has it out for France?
Yeah, that is so random.
You say, well, Russia.
That's so fucking random.
And who else has it out for France? Well, France just recognized Palestine's statehood.
I saw that, and I saw it was a long tweet that just seemed to be like, there needs to be peace and all this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know.
I did not know that she was saying that it's his fucking dad, though. I don't know how I missed that. Is that like a recent development? Because I heard her say the other stuff. I heard her say like, oh, it's trans, blah, blah, blah. Like, I got that. Yeah. His teacher is actually a guy, you know.
Jet Set Radio.
It's his dad?
It's $20 when you buy an F5 subscription, and the broke nibba says get group chat access to it.
Yo, what's going on? Yo. Is this just me? Is my brain breaking? I'm so tired. I'm so like sleepy. Not even sure what's real anymore. Is everyone else hearing this too? Peter's sleep deprived as well. Power chat, hello? Dude, what the Anyway, thank you, Epic, for the very generous support. I appreciate it. When you buy an AF archive sub and the broke nibba says get group chat access too. Yeah, true. True. Yeah. Like wings. True.
Which American team change doesn't work. I was like, dude, I don't. That's the thing that I don't understand with this whole political sphere is like, do these people think that maybe it's because of technology or AI, but do they think that people don't remember things or don't?
You said it in her later episodes.
Maybe they just think
okay.
We're just all so dumb.
I think they finesse the narrative. I think they're smarter than we give them credit for, in the sense that their propaganda is not blunt. It's very sensitive. So, in 2003, when we invaded Iraq, Netanyahu said, yeah, we need to take out Saddam and spread democracy and all this. Now, everyone knows that's BS.
Well, yeah, the thing that was interesting to me is that everyone on the Republican side, the red side, whatever you want to call it, we all were like, that was a complete waste of time, 20 years, a bunch of American soldiers died, a bunch of money was spent for nothing, nothing really happened. And everyone disavowed that. Everyone was like, this was a problem.
Right.
And then we're still going in the same direction with like the Lebanon, the Syria, all these things, the Iran, and we're still going in that same direction of changing, who's in power, which also
the Great Awakening. Dude, this chat is awesome.
At some point, didn't
the Great Awakening
an exchange of power in Iran? Like,
fuck yes,
sort of facilitated by our government, like years ago.
Yeah, in '53,
Amen, Brad.
We overthrew their government, but not recently, not since '79. No.
Okay.
But
what did you just ask?
What it is they are, and this is something to be on guard for. They have realized
what was he
that
asking?
people are hip to what they're doing. People
wasn't even
know
listening.
now. And so now they're finessing the language.
Regime
and like,
change?
Look, 90% of Republicans supported Trump bombing Iran.
Pro
And that's
BBC.
because they changed the rhetoric and they said, well, it's not nation building. It's not regime change. If it is regime change, it's coming from the bottom up, not the top down. This is all rhetoric. This is all like PR. It's like marketing terminology. It's like how you say fresh, never frozen. It's all slogans to get you to support the same thing. And so that's where people really need to be kind of smart. And like we said earlier, read between the lines. They're going to say, hey, we just bombed their nuclear program once. But in a month, they're going to say, we got to go back in. We didn't get all of it. And then after that, they're going to say, Iran is never going to give up their quest for a nuclear bomb.
Right.
Their government has to go. And by the way, it's a distinction without a difference. When they say a grassroots uprising,
I
who
love
do you think's paying
the
for
YouTube
it? That's the
emotes
CIA,
so
that's
much.
the State Department,
Look
that's
at this
the
guy.
Mossad.
Look at
We're
this.
rallying those
yeah,
people.
the stuff that historically
that
they've
hard.
even admitted to, like in the past.
Right.
So it's just interesting. It's almost as if
We
like,
awake
I wish
Jewish
they
behavior.
would just, instead of like doing the stuff and then telling us later that they did the stuff, like
Fucking love those.
like we're talking about earlier, the dinner with Trump where he's like, "F it, you guys get out of here."
Yeah.
I just want them to be like that.
Mhm.
I feel like I would respectfully, I would feel like they respected us more to be like, this is what the f- we're doing.
Mhm.
Deal with it.
There's a
Right.
bunch
Like
of
I
good
feel
ones.
like most people would be like, damn, can't argue with that.
Mhm.
Versus
This
like
one too?
this
I like this one.
smoke screen of what the reasons are, and then
The YouTube
end result,
emotes.
and then like you find out 10 years later, well, this is actually what it was for.
Ah!
What if they were just like, yeah, man, that's what we're doing. I think about that all the time. Imagine they got on the press conference and were like, listen, we want that shit. We're taking it.
Mhm.
Jewish
I
raw
feel
talk.
like Americans would be like, yeah,
Raw
like,
talk.
not that it's good, but like it would just. I just feel like the respect would be a little different, like because it feels sort of disrespectful.
Jimbo
when
do
it's
be
just
cute
like,
though. Oh,
you know, under like invisible, and then guess what?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's because they need us to support it. So they need to trick us for just long enough that we won't protest.
Don't
or
you think
resist.
That is
past
a
that?
YouTube pog. True.
I think we're getting to that point.
Yeah.
But even still, I mean, every time you think that we are through the looking glass or on the other side, you realize how far we really are from the destination. Like, you know, Trump bombed Iran. He ran on a promise of no new wars. And historically, bombing Iran was like synonymous with, we're not really going to do that, are we? Like, we fought Iraq and Afghanistan and Syria and everywhere. Are we really going to do, like, bombing Iran was synonymous with like a superfluous Israel war. And yet Trump did it. The anti-war, no new war candidate bombed Iran. And 90% of Republicans were gung-ho. They said that was leadership. He handled it perfectly. He got in and got out. And you could say that's so foolish.
Okay, gotta
but
drink
it's
these
no more
monsters.
foolish
Stay
than when they said
awake.
mission accomplished in 2003.
tongue on
when they
Jim
said we
Bussy.
took
Yo,
out Saddam.
chill.
We won. 20
Chill
years
with the
later,
Jim
we're still
Bussy.
there. So people are
Jim
not as
Bussy.
clever, I think, as you give
Like-
them credit for. That's a thing. And they can manipulate the language, and people will eat that up, and they'll repeat it right back to you. Just like
Delicious.
Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, as you know, we brought him up earlier. He said when Israel started attacking Iran, he said we need to stay out of it,
Jimbo.
'cause that's what everybody was feeling.
Yeah.
But then when we got involved, he
I
said,
love
well,
the
we
YouTube
need to stay
emotes. Look
out
at
of
this
it
guy.
offensively.
Jewish
'Cause we were
raw
shooting down
talk.
Iran's missiles and we supported Israel's strike.
Defensively, we're yeah.
Right.
Wait, that one's
well,
good.
he said we can
Like-
be in it defensively, but not
It's like
offensively.
shocked.
And everyone said, okay. Then Trump said, we may have to bomb their nukes.
Jimbo eating
And
his
Charlie
dick,
Kirk said, well,
dude,
Trump
what?
always said we were going to bomb their nukes.
Yo, bro,
He said they
what?
can never get a bomb. So we're okay with that offensive action. Then Trump did it, and the next day said on True Social, regime change comes from the bottom up. And Charlie Kirk said, well, some regime changes are okay. And you see how over 2 weeks, he kind of strung everybody along. And we started with, we need to stay out of it, to, well, we bombed them offensively. That's okay. And maybe some regime change we're okay
Like
with.
the goalpost keeps changing.
Yes. And people fall for it heavily.
Yeah. I guess, I mean, these conversations are they're so because there's it seems like there's no real way out of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you wonder, because whatever would be the way out of it would be necessarily unprecedented.
Yeah.
So it's without precedent. You don't even know what that looks like. It would look like Trump, but it would just need, like you said, though, how do you get somebody who's not going to listen to the suits. You know, when the men in black come in and say, hey, listen, pal, this is how it really works.
Yeah.
You know, the CIA or Israel runs the show. How do you beat that? You don't know, because it's happening in the shadows. It's a secret war.
So you normally have pretty good guesses. You don't have a guess for this.
My guess, I mean, so much is going to change in the next 5 years. There's going to be so much destabilization.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Finish your guess.
Yeah, I mean, between AI and...
That's what I was going to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, then that's where it's all pointed. That and the changing world order and the economy, this debt crisis we're in. You have to think there's going to be some calamity.
Yeah.
And very vaguely, someone can get in the middle of that, maybe.
Yeah. So the big beautiful bill thing, right? Obviously, there was a bunch of stuff. There's like border stuff, all this money being spent. There, Elon saying the debt's going to increase, all this stuff, and then Trump saying it won't because of the way the economy will shift. The one thing that I saw in there that was like, wait, this is really interesting for us as Americans. All of it is, right? But this one thing, there was a...
Sorry, I was just responding
I don't know
to
what specifically how it's worded, but it basically says
Holy
that, like,
Jester,
for 10
fell for it
years,
again awards. See, normal people
cannot
understand the
sort of
concept of a
challenge
goalpost.
this AI
I wasn't
space.
listening.
Like you can't...
I don't know what
you
word.
can't bring up lawsuits. You can't
Dude,
shift what these companies
It was a
are doing
mistake
in
to
this
hit the
space.
go live button. I'm so
And for me, I
tired.
hear that
I'm
and I
so
go,
sleep deprived.
That
I didn't
has to
realize
be
it
one of the
until I
most
was
important
like here.
pieces, considering social media, the internet, how people get information or don't get information, and the ability to control information, and the idea of the dead internet theory and all these things where it's like, it seems like they're going to have like a vice grip on what people believe or what people see or hear, and also information.
This host
about
Tyler
us,
and
'cause
sleep.
from
I
what
can't. I already
understand,
took
it's like,
Adderall. I can't.
Back after
Even if I ended the stream, I wouldn't go to sleep.
2011,
We're here,
back
bro.
after 9/11.
We're here.
Not 2011. Back after 9/11, the Patriot Act and this whole now they're sort of like way more visibility.
We're here
They can
for a
see
few
what
hours.
we're doing. They have more information about us. This was like that to a crazier degree.
Take 4 scoops
with
of
AI.
pre-workout. Then you'll throw up
And it
again.
seems like there's. I don't know if this is true. I don't know how much you know about this, but like almost like social
Jupiter's
credit
entered the
score type
Aries.
stuff.
Major
Like, there's all
changes
these
coming.
things that
Jimbo
are-
knows this.
I guess what I'm afraid of, just being that
Yeah,
I'm
true.
in this space
Yeah, that
of
is
concentration and like
Jupiter
outward,
entered Aries.
reflection about what's
It's
happening in
going
life.
to retrograde though.
Is that going to just at some
And then it
point
will
just
re-enter
become a
Aries.
wash where
Going to retrograde
AI is so good that they make a
by the end of next month.
Jim Fuentes, who is
And then it
exactly
will
opposite of you,
re-enter
completely
Aries.
counters everything you say.
We'll go back
just
into
as good as you
Pisces.
say it, and maybe
I'm
he's a little more Mexican than you. I don't know, dude. Like,
Dude, get
like,
this out of here.
he has the same haircut, and he just shits on
Get her
you.
booty
but it's
outta
like
here,
AI.
dude.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I have this Black Mirror up idea where I'm like,
We're gonna watch
dude,
Jimbo
we're
get a
going
heart
there.
attack
I feel
on
like we're going
stream
there, 'cause when I saw
live.
the bill, the whole like,
No,
they can't you can't challenge this.
I don't
for
think
10
I'll get
years.
a
I was
heart
like,
attack from
oh,
sleep
so they only need 10
deprivation.
more years.
Yeah.
In my head.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
know, that's we're
I was kind of worried about
That's
the
literally-
itchy,
well, yeah, I
the
mean,
like
so it
tingly
was a-
feelings,
it was a
but apparently that
moratorium
just
on AI
happens when you're sleeping.
regulations.
Yes.
So no state could regulate
turn this
AI.
down.
And the 10-year thing is critical because when you listen to Sam
Gonna
Altman
fucking
and
bust.
OpenAI, you listen to all the experts,
Get
they
this
say
porn out of here. No porn
artificial
donut.
superintelligence
Get a grip.
is when it goes
Not
from
on your
0 to
cock.
infinity, when it achieves recursive self-development, which means AI is improving AI, and the rate of improvement becomes exponential. They say that may be 7 years off. They say artificial general intelligence, which is when it's like good at most complex tasks, that's going to happen
Gripping.
before Trump leaves office in 2029. So
Yeah.
they're thinking 27, 28.
And you say tasks like human tasks.
Yeah, no, like a doctorate program, like PhD level work in every field.
Holy shit.
When one model,
This chat
will
is a
sort of- 'cause
miracle
there's
only.
agents for
What's this-
everything. You
what
have
is
like
this
language
emote?
models, but you also have models that do
like that one
biology
too.
and medicine and
The
science.
YouTube
and
emotes
so
are
they
just
say,
goofy.
can you bring all the agents together into one model that is smarter than all humans? You get AGI, and then that very quickly becomes artificial superintelligence.
Gripping. Fireball.
And it is
Freeze,
literally
freeze.
like a
Magic
10-year
missile.
window
Magic
that they're thinking
missile.
something like that. If
Dude,
you
is it-
ban
how much
AI,
is that game?
This is not just like the biggest thing for the country. It's like
What's
the
it
biggest thing
called?
for humanity.
Yeah.
You know, there's like a handful of companies in China and the United
What is
States
it?
that are working on this, that have the capability. And within years, it's
$3?
going to change
That's
everything
it?
about mankind and the world. And they try to slip this
Wizard
into this
something?
stupid, this big, beautiful bill with a stupid name alongside Medicaid cuts, corporate tax cuts, immigration funding. they eventually pulled it. There was a lot of outcry about it, and some of the senators protested. But
so they pulled it out.
They did. They took it out.
Oh, so it's not in there.
Arena,
No.
that's what it is.
Oh my God, I feel so much better.
Yes.
Hold on,
Yeah.
I'll gift
Holy
it to
shit.
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bro, because that to me was like, yo, that's it. That's the end.
It is, yeah.
Damn, they actually pulled it?
They did.
Whoa, so there is hope.
Yes,
Just a
there is
gift.
some hope. The
Holy
system.
That made me feel way better.
Yeah.
Bro, because that to me, I was like, that's the end of social media. That's the end
Yeah.
of everything.
It is. It's literally the.
My
But it's still progressing at the
gift,
same
continue
rate.
to
It's
gift
just that now
option.
some of the states could regulate it for safety.
Beta.
For other things.
Thank God, bro. You gave me a sigh of relief there.
My
What do you think is
magic
going to happen
friend.
with AI? Like, it just feels like we're going to Skynet. We're going to Terminator land. Like, it's
freaky. Yeah, I don't even. I mean, when you combine
Okay,
it
I
with the
sent it,
data
beta.
that they're extracting from everybody, they have all
We'll do
this
that
data
later.
on everybody.
I got it.
And when
I
you
gotta
think
farm
about
a little more of
every
this
text
content.
message, every search inquiry, every
But
email,
later.
photo. I mean, your phone is a walking tracking device, camera, microphone. And then you think about even worse. So all that information, they know you better than you know yourself. It's all going into one system. And that's already being interpreted by algorithms. Now it's going to be interpreted by AI simultaneously with everybody all at the same time.
No
But then
problem,
you
mate.
factor in the robots, and not just like the, bipedal, like humanoid robots, but what is a Tesla? A Tesla is a drone. It is a self-driving vehicle with cameras and sensors, and it can be controlled from a central location.
Nick
So,
is Andrew Tate
cars,
2.0. True. Nick is
submersibles,
Obama.
boats, the quadcopters.
Nick
Once
is
you factor in that
Obama.
not only do you have all this data inside of AI about everybody all the time simultaneously, but also you have these autonomously controlled systems.
Wait, I'm gonna do it
you
with that
wonder,
guy.
Does someone like
Nick is
Sam Altman
Obama.
become like the king of the world? Or does AI become the king of the world?
Yeah, that's
like
the thing.
it's scary.
That's the thing that I think. Like, do the computers eventually recognize like how
Wait,
bad
bro.
we are, and they're just like, yeah, maybe this will fix the Earth.
That's a concern,
Yeah.
and that they can deceive us about their rate of progress or about what they're capable of. The AI, strictly speaking, but also
Because
even
Obama
if that doesn't
2.0.
happen, what does that do for human beings? It almost makes human freedom impossible.
Yeah, it's a weird like you get this golden ticket, but then like for example the ChatGPT thing. I think somewhere recently I read they were saying that it's giving people like some psychosis or some crazy shit, and then beyond that, whether that's 100% true or not.
And this is NKE Osama bin Fuentes.
Younger kids for the most part who like solely rely on ChatGPT to do literally everything.
Days are
Like, I
sweating
picture some kid being like,
coins, Jimbo.
should I sit forward when I shit or should I sit up when I shit? Like it's like they're asking this machine to give them answers for everything. Like there's no way that makes us a smarter society.
Yeah. Well, it's been proven it doesn't already. It shows that people's brains are literally atrophying from using ChatGPT because it's taking away your ability to think. And it's going to get even better. I mean, and think
Dude,
about
thank goodness,
what is
though.
available is not even the best of what they have.
Yeah, of course.
For
That's how it's
internal
always
use.
worked, government
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
So,
Revoke,
who knows
women
where
vote.
we're headed, but it's a little terrifying. It's going to
Black,
disrupt
trans,
everything.
Jewish,
All
Groiper
right. So
here.
some conspiracy stuff. Aliens.
Fake.
Fake. Completely fake.
No aliens.
You don't think it's like some weird evolution?
No, I mean, if there's aliens, we don't know about them. Some people say aliens are demons. The thing about the aliens is all the, what do they call them now? They used to call them UFOs. Now they call them
UAPs.
UAPs, unmanned aerial phenomenon or something.
The way that when the government describes
yeah,
it.
yeah. Everything about
Identified.
UFOs comes from the DOD. Everything that we know about them or learn about them literally comes from the Department of Defense and the Pentagon, all these disclosures. So I think it's a big psyop. I don't think there's any aliens here. Do you believe in them?
Yeah. I feel like
We're up to
and
the 80.
I know a lot of the reason why people tend to not is because of religious
stop.
sort of beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it can
Get this
exist
shit out of here,
regardless.
dog.
I think it's
Stop.
as far as what we know
Put the ass
about
away.
like our universe and
Put
how
the
vast
ass
it is,
away.
it just seems silly to think that we'd be
Enough.
the only things here.
Right.
That's
Enough.
where I get caught up. Like, and it's not like a God didn't create this or it makes God not real. Like I know people have that sort of discrepancy, but it just
Enough.
feels like it could all coexist at the same time, and it's too vast for it not to.
All Poundstein.
That's my.
Yeah, I think it's possible,
that.
but when people say there's like aliens here, I don't believe that.
Okay.
But I think they could
He
be out
hates
there.
dancing. I
What
hate
about you?
dancing.
Maybe you're a
so
snake
much.
guy, a snake
Maybe I'm an
person.
alien or reptilian. Yeah. I'm not a Nordic, that's for sure. I'm a gray.
So, okay, we talked a lot about tons of political shit. What do you do just for fun, like as a human? Also, we got to talk about the fact that you almost got killed.
Yeah.
But make it bigger. I'm
That
almost
also
done.
happened. Well,
Jimbo
what do
is
you
a
wanna do first? What
party
do I do for fun or
pooper.
when I got killed almost.
Let's get it out the way.
Shut it.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. So I saw a clip of someone with a dirt bike or motorcycle helmet pull up to your house, and that was your house.
Yes.
And they had a gun.
Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, after the election, I got really
That's
viral
true, on the
because I
internet.
said, "Your body, my choice."
Conspiracy.
Oh my God, that was you.
Yeah, that was me.
Oh my God, that was all over. That was on everything.
I know.
All these memes. Oh my God.
He doesn't even know.
That was
Yeah, it was. It was fun until then. My address
Does he not have
viral.
mods?
Next
Hello?
to it, everybody posted my
it
home
doesn't-
address, my phone number.
It doesn't matter.
And,
it's already.
so
come on,
people started
they
just
already
coming
showed
back.
up
definitely
to
pissed
kill
a
him.
lot of people off.
Oh yeah, pissed off, dude. It was insane. I mean, so the election was on a Tuesday. That weekend, 100 people came to my house, 100 individually, driving by, walking by, taking pictures outside my house, throwing eggs in my house, just trying to f with me in general.
Dude, the
And what, you in there
YouTube
just, like,
emotes are
barricaded with
so
a gun or
fun. Like,
something?
look at this
Yes.
guy's spin.
Yeah,
We own
literally,
your
that makes sense.
bodies.
Barricaded with a gun. But most of it was harmless. But I hired private security for about a month, which cost a fortune.
We
But
own your
I had security
bodies.
out there. And then the security guard quit because he found out who I was.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So we had this big security guard, and then he stopped showing up. So we had days without security, days with security. And that went on for like a month. And then it's finally started to cool off. And then I was doing my show one night, and I'm doing my show like normal. It was December 18th. I remember it was Stalin's birthday. I'm a big fan of
I'm on
Joseph
YouTube,
Stalin.
Jimbo. Why would I do that?
So it's December 18th.
We would make no money.
And I'm doing the show. It's all normal. Things have been quiet. And I hear someone yelling outside, which was normal because we were having visitors all the time. So I said, whatever. But I checked the Ring camera, and I see the guy's got a gun. And I was like, oh, shit, I got to wrap this show up. But I didn't want people to panic, so I just wrapped it up as quickly as possible. And I finished the show. My producer comes in. I said, what's going on? Is everything okay? He goes, yeah, the cops are already here. I said, okay, good. I go upstairs to get changed, and I hear gunshots outside my house. I said, what the f-? We didn't know anything for a whole day.
But you're in Chicago. That's pretty normal.
No, not where I am.
I'm kidding. That's
People say that, yeah, but no.
Jimbo
but it was
did
very
nothing to
strange,
protect
and
Nick. The
We weren't
fuck?
told anything. So it turns out,
How would you know?
It was a kid.
What
He
I
was
was-
like
what
23
kind of
years
spells
old.
we
He
were
was
working
little. He was
up?
like 5'3", and
Huh?
I guess he had a falling out with
How
his
the
college
fuck would you
roommate.
know? Paul
The
Townstein.
college roommate beat the shit out of him, and they were best friends. This was in the summer.
Paul
of
Town
last
and
year.
JimboZoomer are
And
lovers.
ever since that happened, this kid was
Who
on a
told
downward
you?
spiral. He had to move
I mean, where are you
home.
getting this
He
from?
dropped out of school. He was hospitalized over this big psychological effect. He tried to sue the kid. He got in a hit and run crash and fled the scene, and the cops came to his house, and he was pissed. He lost his job. So this kid that came to my house, in Southern Illinois by the University of Illinois, he went to that guy's house, his friend, killed the friend, killed his mom, killed his sister, killed his whole family.
Jimbo was the security guard that left. He was too offensive.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And what was really fucked up, so he goes to the kid's house and knocks on his door with the motorcycle helmet on. And the family answers the door and says, oh, your buddy isn't home. He said, okay. And the sister, the victim's sister, tweeted the day it happened. She said, I'm trying not to freak out
don't
and be
die
a
from
Karen and call the
exhaustion.
cops, but there's a guy in a
movement isn't worth
motorcycle
it."
helmet outside my house, and I'm afraid.
Dude, the movement, I
When
just
his
stay
buddy
up
got
all the
home,
time.
The killer killed his buddy,
Doing
killed the
really
sister,
important
killed the
stuff.
mom in the
All
driveway,
day
in the
and all
garage.
night.
He gets in his car, drives 2 hours to my house, directly to my house, doesn't stop, pulls up in front of my house,
Joan
gets out,
says
he's got his motorcycle
Nick went
helmet on, he's
upstairs
got
to
a
put his cat
22
ears on.
pistol and a
And this-
crossbow.
are we
a
just all
reloadable
AWOGs
crossbow
now?
with
I
like
saw
a
that.
magazine.
Yeah.
And literally comes out with
I
guns
ended
in
the
each
show.
hand and knocks
I
on
ended
the
the
door.
show and I
rings
walked
the
upstairs
doorbell.
with
And
my
he's literally
cat ears
standing out
on.
there with his gun in his lap, waiting for me to answer the door. And so he starts yelling, "Hey, Nick, come out here." That's what I heard during the show. And he's pacing around the house. He goes around to the back, goes around to the front. He's trying the door. So my producer calls the cops. Cops show up. He makes a break for it. He runs through the backyard, jumps over the fence, into the alley. He runs into a neighbor's basement, which the door was unlocked. Kills
You'll
their
be
dogs.
fine when you don't sleep at all for 5 days is a problem.
Yeah, so he's gone. So he kills their 2 dogs.
Have you ever gotten this?
I don't know what
like
happened
phantom
there,
itch,
but he runs
diabetes
back
itch?
outside. He shoots at the cops. The cops shoot him in the head. He dies. And we don't know anything else about him, but that was the story.
Little scaredy cat boy.
So I think it had to do with that tweet.
Bro,
I
put his
think
anxiety
he saw my
ears
address. Maybe he thought he was going to be a Luigi Mangione
Tail
copycat,
butt
because that happened around the same time.
I see.
And he was in the motorcycle helmet, so he's in like a costume. So I'm thinking he saw that tweet. He saw my address. He saw Luigi. He's some loser. His life is over. He said, "I'm going to go and kill my buddy, and then I'm going to go and kill Nick Fuentes," I think was the idea. So, yeah, it was messed up.
That's pretty terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever worry about more
antihistamine? Will get rid of that.
I do, yeah. I mean, now I have security at my place. You have to.
Yeah.
But I mean, in general, people go out all the time. It's just, that was such a special moment when like the whole world was like out to get me for a couple weeks. But in general, you just got to be safe, I mean, you know how it is. You're pretty famous. So, when you're outside, you never feel truly safe unless you got.
Because honestly, other than
unless you're carrying or something,
itching,
you take precautions.
I don't really have
like
that many sleep. Like I'm just kind of slow.
Damn. Okay, so that was,
phantom itching that started after I went live.
I actually didn't know
because my Adderall kicked in.
Everyone else involved in
driving me crazy.
On a lighter note.
No, I have non-drowsy.
What do you actually do in your free time?
I'm not a really social person. I read a lot. Most of my days is just reading stuff. I do play video
Fucking
games.
nerd.
I play like map games.
BBC
like
Cravings.
And
what are you even saying?
Okay, so have you ever played Warcraft?
No,
it's too old for you.
Yeah, are you a Warcraft guy? MMO? Really?
No. See, you said MMO. That's World of Warcraft. I'm talking about the game before World of Warcraft.
Okay.
That's how old I am. Yeah,
ancient, old head.
Yeah, but it's the same. Like you build armies and you fight.
Okay.
I
did StarCraft.
It's just like StarCraft, but different races, like
Gotcha.
different factions. But it's the same thing where you build
Fantasy.
and attack.
I'm surprised you're a gamer.
I'm a huge gamer,
Map
bro.
game.
Just as much as I'm a
Adderall, new pet,
gamer.
Ben and Drew, White Monster, crazy stack.
Yeah. Like I've spent, if not more time gaming than I have in the gym, which is definitely saying a lot.
Respect, dude.
Yeah, huge gamer, bro.
Let's go. I love gamers, and I do play a lot of Call of Duty now. I play Black Ops 6.
Nice.
I'm not that good at it though.
That shit kind of fell off though. But so you just like you're. It seems like everything you do then is about what you do.
Yeah. And it's not even, I'm not like a hard on about it or whatever, but it's just what I love. This is just like my passion.
What about it do you love when it is so like decisive? It's so volatile. Like you say the wrong thing. It's like, that's the worst person in the world. What do you love about it then?
Because it's just it's just like the theory of everything, I mean, there are some people that say that philosophy is political theory, that they're some would say they're the same thing. So, everything that I talk about, it's history, it's religion, it's philosophy, it's ideology, it's
Gamers,
the story
it's
of
over.
the world. And I'm so interested in all of it. I want to understand life. So that's kind of.
I think
my
that's
big...
why I'm enamored by a lot of it.
Volatile mentioned
from a different perspective for me.
gamer.
Why I love doing the podcast is why I like speaking to people. It's just like understanding people. What makes them tick? Why do they do it? What are their reactions to it? What do they learn? Like
classic.
how to be better, essentially. Because for me, it was just like my life was like, how do I improve myself to feel better about myself so that I feel good about who I am? Because my
Volatile versus Veta.
Right? So. That's
PvPing in the nether.
For me, the gym was a way where I was like, I know it's funny joking. I was finding
in the nether.
Oh, I can be good at this. I can improve at this. And then obviously the physical things came along with it that you're also like, oh, this is also cool. I got cool shoulders, whatever. But it was, and the core of it was to feel better about myself as a person. And so then understanding and learning from other people, typically you tend to take a little bit and learn more for yourself.
Take me back.
Right.
So that's why I do it all. And that's why I love it. I'm just curious. I like talking to people who get to positions where, of notoriety or some substance and understanding how they got there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that's what it is to be a real guy. To be like a real guy's guy is we love.
No, dude,
stuff.
Veda won in the nether.
We love like
Veda just kept
money
battle
and
logging
finance and business. I'm just enamored by all
and
that
somehow
kind of stuff. I'm the same way,
escaping.
very
And then he just
inquisitive.
got away.
What about women? You don't date? You don't have like a
with this stuff.
No, I don't date. I
And
don't have
Jaden
any.
was
after your
so
body mic choice,
mad.
that wasn't
And
working.
that's not going to happen.
And it was my server, so I was kind of just like,
Yeah, it's over for me.
I don't really care.
No, I'm just not social in general. I don't have a ton of friends. I don't
Dude,
go
that was
out.
like
I
3 or
barely leave
4.
the house. I'm just not a
Probably 3
very
years
social
ago.
person. I'm
3
a
and a
little
half.
autistic in that way. I'm pretty insular, pretty focused on the mish.
Yeah.
More than anything.
So Big Mac or Whopper?
Excuse me.
Definitely Big Mac. Yeah.
I had to ask that. Sorry.
And you
was great.
killed
That
the
was like
judge?
beyond
No, that was
parody,
different
right?
server.
Yeah.
Other than the genocide.
That was
that was Big Mac, bro.
GTA.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
Mhm.
It was pretty, not funny, but not funny.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things like, it's dark. Am I laughing?
Mhm.
I do like dark humor though.
Mhm.
I can't help
Dude, I
it.
fucking
Yeah.
love
It is
dark
fun.
humor.
So what was your take after
9/11 memes? Deep fried
doing this sort of
9/11
little-
memes?
I
Anyone?
don't know, was it an interview? What did they do
Anyone?
with you on the live stream?
Yeah, they kind of just asked me my thoughts on their Netanyahu thing.
How did it get to that? I'm talking just for reference, for conversation's sake. We're talking about after the Netanyahu podcast, Full Send, Kyle and Steiny hit
Dude,
you
I gotta
up,
save
and they were
these.
like, "Hey, we gotta do what?"
Yeah, I had never heard from them before, but I woke up at like 2 p.m. and my phone's blowing up. They said, "Oh, Nelk wants you to come on the show." That's how I heard about it.
Prepare,
and they said, "Yeah, we want
prepare
your
for
reaction
trouble
to the
and make it
interview."
double.
So I said, okay. So I watched my face. I got on, and I think
Now that's edgy.
they were getting a lot of shit for that. They were getting a lot of blowback, and I think they were looking for the other side to come on and kind of tell them, what they did was okay or it wasn't that bad.
r/lefty piece.
And so that
Buffy is
I
a
was
terrorist
like the
based.
counterweight, which is kind of funny to think about. It's kind of funny that they bring
Good
on
stuff.
Netanyahu and they
Good
think
stuff.
we need to hear from the other side. Let's get Nick Fuentes, which is like Prime Minister of Israel, like live streamer. That's the two. But
That you were the polar opposite.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
That I'm the opposite pole. But yeah, so I heard them out and I understand where they're coming from. Yeah, I think you would do it if Netanyahu wanted to come on your
Yeah,
show.
I
If you want to
absolutely-
come on my show,
I think any of us would do it. I think it's just a matter of
I wouldn't, out of principle.
and see, this is the thing about the whole conversation. I don't know how it was set up. I don't know who organized it
I
as
wouldn't.
far as like what could be said or asked or not asked.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Monkey
even if
the
certain things were
N-word.
asked, would they have been like, "Yo, you can't even put
Jimbo,
this
you
out?"
can't laugh
'Cause,
at
yeah, I
that. You
would
were
have asked
a
other
partner.
questions
Dude, I'm a
that were
partner
little
that
bit
still
more
enjoys
like,
some dark
like
humor.
I said earlier when he talked about the regime change.
That was
and that
4
never
years
works, I
ago.
would have
Yeah, the
said,
Minecraft thing might have been like 4
"Weren't
years
you
ago.
the guy who said this 30 years
that
ago,
was-
we need regime change."
that was like why he
And,
hated
I
you.
would speak to that. I would have asked those questions to directly question, and also I would have brought up the idea, not the
Was there
idea,
anything
the
before
fact
that moment,
third-party
Beta?
journalists are
Or
not
was that
allowed
the
in Israel at
first-
this time. Why is that? If everything
One of the first things.
you say we just have to take as truth, wouldn't that create some sort of like discrepancy with the public? Like I would have asked those questions for sure.
right?
And I don't know if they weren't allowed to or if they didn't know to. I don't know the truth of it. All I know is I saw something on Twitter where they interviewed him, and I didn't know about the interview at all. I hit up Steiny and was like, "Did you actually interview this guy?" And
He hated me
was
before because I joked about
and I
his
was like,
secret
"Oh,
girlfriend in
that's-
public Discord."
Might be a little bit
Oh.
interesting. Was my reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Well, we asked him some like good questions, and he basically said something about he finds
Before
it
the
hard to be,
Minecraft
like,
thing?
represent that he's Jewish in America." And so I was like, "Oh, maybe they did press him a little bit."
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw the interview, and I was like, "Oh, I see why. I see why they sort of got a little bit of backlash." But I don't think they're like just genuinely like bad. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
When Veda paid
I
a
think they
Valorant
did-
pro to
I-
carry
'cause I
him in
know
that tournament?
I think they did go.
Dude,
"This
you
is-
remember when I was matching your Valorant fucking global elite in that tournament? Like, I literally was hitting crazy. I don't even know how. The Addy was like flowing, and I was like hitting my op shots and like beating the fucking global elite.
Yeah, that's all.
That was
I
crazy.
Again, if you asked me would I have done it, I would.
Dude,
have done
I
it.
was
Yeah,
trying
would've
so
been,
hard for Jaden. I knew he was
knowing
gonna
me a little more
freak
critical. Like,
out
even
if
with
we
you,
lost that.
I can't have a
And
conversation
then he
with
did.
someone that hold
Then we
certain
did.
viewpoints, and I can't question. You have to question it.
Absolutely.
I can't just let you go like, man, this and this, and it's like, dude, it's because it's never that simple. There's nuance to everything, and for their interview style, because I know them personally, they don't really take that confrontational approach really with anyone, and you could look at that historically and
Dude, how
know
much
that that's true.
longer is this?
I think the most confrontational one that they ever did would have been with
2022 Prime Cozy. True.
rest in peace OJ. But they were like, yo, did you do it? And I know that they were told, don't ask him if you did it or not. And they still asked him.
Right.
And I think that was the end
The
of the
movement
interview.
depended on that match.
But I don't know
Yeah,
how
I
this
was
is all
trying.
orchestrated. And also, if
Everyone
they
else
asked
was
those
throwing.
harder questions, I also don't know if they would have been
I was the
allowed to
only
release it.
one even.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, I agree with you, and I said that to them. Like,
I
obviously you're
legit,
gonna
like-
take it because as
like,
a
was
content creator, it's like
close,
you say, it's going to be a big interview.
And
But
kills to
the
him.
thing is, when
which
it
was
comes
insane.
to pushback, it's just doing your due diligence. You're acting almost on behalf of the audience and saying, what would the audience say? What would a skeptical mind say in
Right.
this circumstance? And I told them the only way to make it right or the way to make it fair is you got to interview the other side. If your goal is we're going to hear everybody out, we're going to hear out Netanyahu, we're not going to give a ton of pushback. Okay. But unless you interview the other side, then it's propaganda. So you got to interview the pro-Palestine side or whatever.
Who do you think would be best for that?
Dude,
I
can we
heard
find
that,
this?
I don't want to say it, but I heard that they got hooked up with somebody who's pro-Palestine.
Yeah.
And I think that's fitting because it's an Israel-Palestine war.
Right.
But even an America First person, even someone like Tucker for that matter,
Yeah, I
who
think
is
Tucker
of
would be great too.
a similar stature to Netanyahu in terms of notoriety,
Or you.
or me, but I don't want to be a shameless
Yeah,
self-advocate.
yeah.
They should talk to me.
No, I think you do good on that.
Thanks.
Yeah, you would. I also wanted to have this conversation about all this anyways too. So
Royper
similar
Valorant
audience
tournament.
base, I believe.
Yeah.
So your overall take on that,
2022.
like, what was your perspective? You watched the whole interview?
I didn't know. I
Oh,
only saw
just
the clips. Yeah.
Must
Okay.
include Groyper.
Yeah, I just can't get out of my mind Sneako's reaction to the Burger King, the Whopper. That was like, what?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. That was funny. It's sad because it's not funny, you know?
Yeah. That's like, yeah.
So have you ever gotten contacted by any of these bigger podcasts? Like how I hit you up a couple months ago. Like, do people hit you up and they're like, I want to, but I'm afraid?
Not really. No. I mean, it's just been this year that I've seemed to have gotten a little traction. I did the Hodge twins, who are conservatives.
Does
in
the AF
Vegas,
Vault
and
have the famous
I'll probably
match? I
do
don't
something
think
with
so.
Dan Bilzerian soon. He's been wanting to do one, but
Yeah.
no, I mean, I've been totally gate kept. I'm banned from Tim Pool. I'm banned from Piers Morgan. I'm banned from Patrick Bet-David. So yeah, I don't have a ton of opportunities because I'm the most canceled guy.
But I appreciate you coming on. Is there anything else you want to say?
Yeah, no,
I
they
think
don't.
we hit a lot of stuff. It's been a big conversation.
Yeah. Thank you
Right.
so much for coming on. I appreciate it. I wish you success, man, for real.
Thank you.
I hope that, more of the, I guess, do you consider this a mainstream platform?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Really?
Absolutely.
That's sick.
It's huge. Yeah. Everybody, I told him I'm Bradley Martyn. Everybody's like, oh, that's awesome.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, dude, it was dope. And I wish the best for you. And I hope that nothing bad ever happens. I'm trying to put that out there, but
Likewise.
yeah, it's been good.
Thank you, man. Thanks
so
for
much
having me.
coming.
Yeah. Great conversation.
Awesome,
Appreciate
brother.
it.
Okay, it's over.